Good morning, everybody. I wasn't really going to make a video this morning, and I saw a couple other content providers that say, like you need to post your videos daily. You need to really do it and commit. My heart goes out to those in Central Texas that are being affected by the floods. I know exactly what you're going through. I know how you feel. It's scary when you think you're going to be just fine, and then the water rises much faster than you anticipated. So my heart goes out to those Texas game wardens. They saved us. We were affected by the Lake Livingston Dam release last year, and then shortly after that, Hurricane Beryl hit us in our area. So I definitely, know what you're going through. And if there's any other content providers out here that can help me help them in some way, I would definitely appreciate the mentorship. So with that being said, I am going to move into what I really wanted to make this video about. There's been a couple questions of like, how do you know if it's a pressure sore or if it's just a wound? Well, a pressure sore starts on the inside and works its way out. And it can happen with a hard transfer. It can happen with laying in one spot too long and having like bone on bone sit together. So like we make sure that my husband's knees don't sit together when he's sleeping. Ankles, those are big ones. But definitely the butt is an area to be very cautious about. My husband's pressure sore that he got a couple years ago while hunting started with a hard transfer. I should have gone with him on this hunting trip, and I was selfish and didn't want to go. And if anybody, has a loved one that's in a wheelchair, and when they get hurt, that you take that on yourself. And I still to this day feel very much responsible for that injury happening. So what had happened is he went to the airport. I took him as far as I could, and then from there, airport, people helped him transfer from his chair to like an aisle chair so that he could get on to the plane seat. And a lot of people don't know this, but you can't take your wheelchair on a plane. The aisle is just way too small. So they have aisle chairs that they put you in. And good-meaning people often just don't understand that like allowing somebody to transfer on their own is much more safe than them helping you, because what they want to do is they want to muscle you. They want to just pick you up and get moving and get people on a plane. And ultimately, that's what happened to my husband. At least that's where it started. So the pressure sore started there, and then when he got to Texas, the company that he went with, it's the Combat Marine Outdoors, took him on a hunting trip because he is a veteran, and they said we've got everything that you need. Like don't overpack, just come, we got you. And again, very well-meaning people. They thought that they had everything that they need, but you don't understand how much somebody in a wheelchair needs until you're dealing with that situation. There's different chairs that he uses for showering, different chairs that he uses for other personal business, and we did not pack any of that because we were told that they had everything. So ultimately, he got there and he couldn't get into the shower. He couldn't get even into the bathroom because even though a lot of people say that they're handicap accessible, grab bars in a shower and grab bars near a toilet does not make you accessible. I used to have not a YouTube channel, but an Instagram called Are You Really Accessible? And I rated hotels and restaurants and stuff like that. It never really took off. Only my family saw it, I guess. But with that being said, then that also added a layer to this injury. He ended up having to go to the main house to shower, but They didn't have a shower chair, so they moved a metal bench in, and again, hard metal, and you have no padding on your butt at this point in time. Like, people in wheelchairs just don't have a butt anymore. Then after that, riding in a razor for 2 days, 3 days, bouncing around, hitting that hard bone. It just created a storm. So it ultimately took 2 years to get that wound to heal. And I used all the same tactics that I spoke about in my first video. So if you haven't watched that one, go back and look at that one. That's my war kit. I also have a few other things that I keep on hand. It doesn't necessarily sit in the war kit, but they're valuable. Sorry, my puppies are whining. But this is called Nutra Rinse Free Body Cleanser. This is like soap, but you don't have to like use water. So this helps clean the skin. If you're in a situation where you don't have access to a shower, for example, when my husband went hunting, this would have been pretty valuable. The other thing I keep on hand is Aquifer. This is really good for basically everything, making sure that his skin is moisturized and taken care of. Another thing that I use is this antifungal ointment. It's also kind of like a lotion. It's kind of a mix between Aquifer and like antifungal cream. This is really good, and believe it or not, women get jock itch, especially if you're sitting in a wheelchair all day long. So making sure that you're keeping those areas clean of any sort of like jock itch, fungal. It's also really good for your feet, and so we use this pretty often. Yeah, so those are my tips for today, and I will be making a second part talking about wounds that are like more surface wounds. Have a great day.